What is up, everyone? Welcome to my AEW All Out post live stream. I'm Denise Salcedo. Welcome to the show. So, holy cow, guys, there is so much to talk about that went on tonight on AEW. I was honestly not expecting to have this much to talk about. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to dive right into the show. We're going to talk about each and every single match, all the madness and chaos that went down here tonight. So make sure to share your thoughts and comments because I will be reading all of your thoughts today. Also, I want to go ahead and kick it off with Christian Baltimore. Christian, thank you so much for kicking us off with a super chat here today. He says the end of the Moxley match was just brilliant. Yes, that match went quite a bit, guys. Honestly, I was a little bit tired at this point of the pay-per-view, but I will go ahead and say this. Jon Moxley and MJF went out there and they literally gave it all they had, and they put on a pretty entertaining match with, like you just said, a great finish. I did like the ending for the match. And also, if you guys want to go ahead and send in any super chats throughout tonight's stream, it would be greatly appreciated. I did pay the full $50 for AEW All Out, so go ahead and send in some super chats. Help me out here. But no, seriously, let's go ahead and get into it. And guys, we actually have another super chat. First of all, thank you so much, Christian, for kicking us off here. And then Mr. Big Bad Bean, thank you so much for the super chat. He says, I hope Matt Hardy is okay. AEW should take another look at their concussion protocol moving forward. You know what? Since you brought it up, I'm just going to go ahead and say it, guys. After the Matt Hardy spot, the Matt Hardy Sammy Guevara spot, I was completely taken out of the pay-per-view. I don't know how many of you felt this way, but I felt this way after seeing what happened, how it was handled by AEW. I gotta say, it really took me out of it. It was very hard to get into the women's match, to be honest, and because that was the match that followed it right after that. And then even just after the rest of the pay-per-view, it kind of left a sour note. And everything that went down during the Matt Hardy Sammy Guevara match was just so confusing. I mean, when I saw what they were going for, right when I knew that they were going for that spot, I thought to myself, okay, I just hope that this all works out. But for some reason, just looking at it, just seeing where that platform was at and where the table was at, it really just didn't feel like there was enough space. And the second that Sammy Guevara went for that spear, I just thought to myself, oh my God, they are not going to land on the table. And it just was not pretty whatsoever. And I almost feel like watching it, you could see it happening. You could see that it was not going to end well. And there was just so much confusion. Everyone on Twitter was confused. People watching were confused. I was very, very confused. And I mean, I was just completely thrown off by this, guys, like completely thrown off. Chris DeZuba, thank you so much, Chris, for sending in another super chat. He says, didn't like it at all, really would give it a 4 out of 10. I will say this, I honestly think that this was probably not the best pay-per-view. There were a lot of entertaining things that happened on the show. I will say that, and we will talk about that once we get into each and every single match. But I just got to say that overall, because of some of the things that happened and how they were handled, it really took away from the show. But thank you so much, Chris DeZuba, for sending in the super chat for today. Injection 2K has an update for us. He says, Denise, help! Chopper Pete turned on Luke and Luke got fired. No, are you kidding me? Luke got fired? Okay, guys, this night is just getting crazier and crazier. I need to catch up with that, Injection 2K, but thank you so much for letting me know because I don't know what that means for me in terms of the fact that I co-host a show with Luke on Wrestle Talk, so I got to figure out what the situation is there. But guys, let's go ahead and just kick it off. We're going to go ahead and start talking about the matches. We're going to start off with the pre-show match, which was Serpentico with Luther versus Joey Janela. I'm just going to go ahead and say this, guys. I was not a fan of the pre-show whatsoever. I felt that there was a lot of misses when it came to the pre-show. Oh, wait, hold on. We got another super chat. Thank you so much, Sports and Wrestling Experience. Didn't send in a comment, but thank you so much for sending in a super chat. It's greatly appreciated. Thank you so much, Sports and Wrestling Experience. Okay, so starting off with the pre-show, I didn't like it. I thought that it was not good. I'm just going to start off with the commentary. I didn't think it was great. I thought that I kind of felt Tony Schiavone was a little bit off today during what he was doing with Dasha. I thought that there was a lot of blubbering. Things were out of place. So a lot of stuff were being forgotten. So it just didn't really do anything for me. I thought the promos for the Casino Battle Royal were not good as well. So that was a miss as well. But speaking of the Serpentico versus Joey Janela match, I got to say that I thought Serpentico actually came off looking pretty good. I think that he came off looking more impressive than I originally expected. I'll just be honest, guys. I don't really get the Joey Janela hype. So if you're a Joey Janela fan, I'm sorry, but I don't get the hype. So I was taken out of this match a little bit. But let's go ahead and what did you guys think of the pre-show? Spaceman says pre-show felt like a dark episode. Oh, DTMD says boring as hell, boring as hell. And I feel bad because I'm not trying to say that the whole show was like boring or anything like that. There was a lot of good stuff. Wilson Simmons, thank you so much for the super chat. Wilson says, sorry to interrupt, answer when you can. Was Seidel's fall worse than the Shockmaster? It's funny that you say that because when that happened, I immediately thought of the Shockmaster. I thought, man, that's just bad. But I don't think it was as bad because, I mean, Matt Sydal was literally going for the 450. And so for him to slip with on a maneuver like that, hey, man, it happens. I honestly think that his fall was due to adrenaline. You know, he's making this big debut into AEW. You know, all the hype and the momentum is there, and he just slips. And it's something that he does so well, and that's so natural for him. So I think that sometimes you mess up on the things that you're most naturally good at, if that makes any sense, just because you just go right into it without thinking it. And so, oh, guys, that was so unfortunate. I honestly think that after Matt Sydal slipped, the show honestly went down from there. Just so much random stuff started happening and things started going wrong that it was very, very unfortunate. But let's move on to the next match, guys. But please feel free to share your thoughts as we continue on. So that was just my quick thoughts on the pre-show match. The second pre-show match that we had was Alex Reynolds, John Silver versus Private Party. To be honest, guys, I saw a lot of people say some great stuff about Alex Reynolds and John Silver. I thought that they had some really good, impressive double team moves during this match. However, it wasn't enough for me to say that I'm completely impressed. But I'm just being a little nitpicky on that one there. I did think Private Party, I mean, I love Private Party, guys. I think they're really good and they have a lot of potential. However, I do think that Private Party would benefit a whole lot more from working with teams like the Lucha Brothers or Santana and Ortiz, because the Private Party has so much potential. We all know that they could do the cool moves, the cool spots, and all of that. But I think that working with a team like Lucha Brothers or Santana and Ortiz would actually help them elevate and get to that next level that I think the Private Party could definitely be at. But with that being said, I do think that AEW has some of the best potential when it comes to their tag team division. That's actually one of the strongest divisions that I think they could have if they just pull it off correctly and, really give guys an opportunity like Santana and Ortiz and Lucha Brothers. I think if you really, and you have Jurassic Express, which, by the way, I'm just going to go ahead and say it. The Young Bucks versus Jurassic Express was match of the night. But what did you guys think here? Spaceman also says that Silver looked great. Wilson says it was his first move there, though. I'm afraid they'll make it a storyline. In regards to Matt Sydal, oh God, that was something else, guys. I feel really bad about that. But let's go ahead and move on, and let's just go ahead and kick it off with the main show. The opening match was the Tooth and Nail cinematic match, everybody, which was Britt Baker versus Big Swole. Okay, So, first of all, I'm just going to go ahead and say that I didn't consider this really a cinematic match. And the reason for that is I think when it comes to what I would assume a cinematic match is, it's all these special effects and all these, different elements that are added to it that are, sort of make it like a movie, hence the cinematic name. I kind of felt this was a street fight in a dentist office. So it didn't really come to me across as a cinematic match. But either way, I did think that they had some fun things that they did during this match. However, I don't necessarily think that it was the greatest just because they didn't have enough unique spots. I thought they could have been a little bit more creative, had a little bit more fun with it, especially if you're calling it a cinematic match. I think they could have had a lot more fun with it. There were some funny parts. We saw all the shots with the diploma. We saw the teeth chattering, and then we saw the ending, which was fantastic. I actually loved the finish with Britt Baker essentially getting that syringe put through her leg. I thought that was a very clever, plus with the little oxygen mask. Is that what you guys call it? The oxygen mask? All right. I don't have the words for it. The one that puts you to sleep. All right. So I did like the finish for this match, but I did think that it could have gone a little bit longer and it could have had more unique spots to it. But that's just my personal opinion. But what did you guys think here? Let's go ahead and see what you guys thought. All right, ETVP has his thoughts on the entire show. He says the whole show fell off. I felt commentary is the weak link. Commentary was not good today at all. There was a lot of things, one of which the main thing that people were talking about on social media was Jim Ross's inappropriate comments, which, by the way, I don't know why people are surprised. I feel like that's something we would expect from Jim Ross. So there you go. DTMD says, the way Justin Roberts says Big Swole is hilarious. How does he say it? I didn't catch that. I'll probably have to pay more attention to that afterwards. DJ Riot Maker says it wasn't cinematic. It wasn't good. So I wouldn't say it was awful, but it wasn't cinematic. And then Chris DeZuba, thank you so much for sending in a super chat. He says, I would rather listen to Taylor's Reputation album than watch this. Bro. All right, first of all, Taylor Swift's Reputation album is fantastic. And secondly, I do get what you're trying to say with this, though. Thank you so much for sending in the super chat. Guys, Wilson Simmons says the tooth and nail match wasn't that great. Karthik Reddy says it could have been used more. Thank you much. All right, guys. Anybody? Felipe Assis says, what did JR said? He basically said that he wanted Anna, I believe, Anna, that he wanted her to have a wardrobe malfunction. So he essentially wanted to see a little fun stuff going on. So it was very inappropriate considering, the age difference. And right now, this isn't just it's not a good look, guys. It's not a good look to say that. Stephen J says some botches in this card was kinda not as tuned in after the Hardy injury. Dude, that threw the whole show completely off, for sure. But let's actually go ahead and get into what I thought was actually match of the night. In my opinion, if you have another match of the night candidate, go ahead and send it in the chat. But I thought that it was this one, and it was Jurassic Express versus the Young Bucks. So I'm just going to start off by saying this. Jurassic Express can have all my money. They are, every week that I watch Dynamite, I most look forward to their matches because I know that they're going to go out there and they're going to have a lot of fun with whatever they're doing in the ring, and it's going to be a good time. And with a tag team like that, that is what you would expect. A good time, good matches, lots of spots. So I did not expect this match to be bad whatsoever. So I had good expectations going into Jurassic Express versus the Young Bucks, and they did not disappoint whatsoever. I thought this match was exactly what I expected. They had a lot of spots. Jungle Boy, I thought, was the star of this. If anything, I think he's one of the guys on the AEW roster that has the most potential out of so many guys. I mean, in the last year that they've been around, we have honestly seen Jungle Boy from being this impressive future star to now, you look at the way he moves in the ring. He is so much more confident with what he does. I mean, he's spot on. He's completely over. You don't even have to have a full complete house to realize that he's over. I mean, this is just, I honestly cannot put over Jungle Boy enough, guys. I thought this match was great, and it was probably the strongest highlight of the night. And this was the last good thing, because after this, things went downhill, guys. Downhill. But let's see what you guys are saying in regards to this. DTMD says this match was a masterpiece in the tag team division. Yes, and they can have so many more of these matches, 100%. Wilson says, insane that Jungle Boy is only 24 years old or something. Yeah, how old is he? Because he's young as hell. And I got to interview him when he was on X-Pac 12360. And man, he is just so humble. So that goes a long way as well. Karthik Reddy says, Young Bucks, FTR, Omega, and Hangman are killing it with storytelling. Marcus Ryan says, Jungle Boy looked like $1 million in this match. Hell yeah. We got another super chat. Thank you so much to iChurch Pastor Blaster, who says, God bless you. Big fan. Jungle Boy coming into his own. You said it, man. Exactly. Jungle Boy is coming into his own, and I'm so excited. He's had this much growth in about a year. Think about where he's going to be once he, gets all of the kinks out and, works with all these different guys and does all these different style of matches. And he's just genuinely likable. He's naturally likable. He's a natural baby face where people literally just flock to him. And, I don't think I know anybody who hates Jungle Boy. If there's somebody here who hates Jungle Boy, I'm going to be completely shocked about that. But Pastor Blaster, thank you so much for the super chat. I'm super close to making up the $50 I spent on the AEW pay-per-view, by the way. Felipe C has a correction for us. He says Jungle Boy is 23, according to Wikipedia. All right, well, we'll take it. He's 23 years old, guys. 20 freaking 3. I mean, that's just so... yeah, that's really good. Honestly, really, really good. All right, guys, let's go ahead and move on to... This is sort of where the show starts to go down south, and it is the 21-man Casino Battle Royal match for a future AEW World Title match, and the winner was Lance Archer. So now that we know that Jon Moxley wins, we're going to be seeing Lance Archer, Jon Moxley down the line. So guys, I don't even know where to start off with this Casino Battle Royal. So originally, my picks for this, guys that I thought were going to win, were either going to be Darby Allin, Ricky Starks, Brian Cage, or Lance Archer. Those were my 4 picks, and Lance Archer ended up taking it. So I'm going to say that it was a good pick there. So in terms of the most memorable thing that happened in this match, what we just talked about, but I want to get your opinions. So please start sending me in your thoughts. And it was the Matt Sydal debut into AEW. Guys, he comes in where he gets that, that nice pop. People are excited. People on social media are going to start talking about it. He goes for the 450. He slips and falls, and it was probably one of the worst debut botches that I have seen in a very, very long time. And it was so unfortunate that it happened. I felt so bad for him, guys, because I'm assuming it's every performer's nightmare. You've heard about it when actors go up and they, accept a Grammy award or some sort of nomination. Their biggest fear is that they're going to trip and that they're going to fall. Now imagine you're an athlete and you're doing all of these crazy maneuvers, and you go out there, you're about to do this bomb-ass move that you're known for and have done it so many times, and then it just goes wrong. After this was the tipping point, in my opinion, for the AEW show. I felt terrible, guys. I honestly felt really bad for Matt Sydal, but he is an incredible talent. I don't think that this will take anything away from him, but it will be something that will be remembered, unfortunately, because people do not forget things like this. But let's see what you guys wanted to say here. Krista Zuba says, they didn't show 80% of the eliminations. What trash. Yeah, I think that there was a little bit of confusion for me in the beginning where I was like, okay, who's in here? Who's eliminated? What are we seeing? We saw a lot of early elimination, some of which included I know Phoenix got eliminated early, Hager got eliminated early, Santana and Ortiz got eliminated like right after one another. I mean, it was people got eliminated fast, that's for sure. Paul Simon says, I think this ruined the finish of the main event. Mike says, poor Matt Sydal. I was so happy to see him, and then he fell from heaven. Yeah, that was so unfortunate, guys, honestly. D-Train Riot Maker says, is it just me, or does Darby Allin truly want to die in the ring taking those crazy spots? D-Train Riot Maker, thank you so much for leading us into the next thing that I wanted to talk about, the Casino Battle Royal, and that was the spot where Brian Cage literally throws Darby. He's in a body bag and he throws him over the top rope and he just lands sick, guys. And he's in a body bag, so his movement is limited as to how he can land. I mean, that was sick. That was one of the spots that everybody was talking about. The final three guys in this match were Matt Sydal, Lance Archer, and Eddie Kingston. I mean, Eddie Kingston has been on a high since arriving to AEW, so I'm really excited for what he's been doing. Definitely lots of potential. Final two guys, Eddie Kingston, Lance Archer. We saw Jake the Snake trying to get Eddie Kingston with that snake. We was taunting him, hitting him on the leg with that snake. In the end, we did see Lance Archer win, and he will be having a match against Jon Moxley. Overall, I thought that the right guy won because they can do so much with Lance Archer. The guy looks impressive. He's got everything that you would want in a top main eventer, and they can do so much with him. They can either do a title shot at Dynamite or build him up as a credible challenger for Moxley and build to a really good pay-per-view match. So I think that the right guy definitely won here. And definitely Anon says, in their debut, ? Marcus Ryan says, I was about to pop when Matt Sydal came out because I wanted to see his cool shooting star press. Then that fail happened. Dude, I think that might go down like as one of the biggest fails in like wrestling, I don't know, history or something, but someone I'm sure will have some sort of clever list put together. Spaceman says, felt awful, but it was so funny though. Oh, dude, I felt bad. I haven't laughed about it yet. To be honest, I haven't laughed about it because I truly do feel bad for him. Wilson says, will they make Sydal botch a storyline? Seems like something they do. Well, you know what? They say that if there's something unfavorable about you, hey, twist the narrative around it so people can remember it differently. So it may or may not be something that might work. I don't know. I would rather just forget about it and try to move on from it. And definitely Anon says, Darby is trying to kill himself. Dude, Darby is a daredevil. Danilo Flores says, AEW has had many problems building credible threats. So among the guys that were there, Lance Archer was the obvious choice, or maybe Kingston. But yeah, they chose the correct person. Yeah, I mean, there were so many guys in there that even though they're incredibly talented, we knew that they were not going to win. So that's pretty much where we're going from there. Cameron Christie says, Darby might have a death wish. Also, yes, please to Moxley versus Archer. Yeah, I think it will be good, but dude, he might have a death wish. I just think at this point, he's known for doing all this crazy stuff. So I feel like that's what he feels he has to do now. But now, guys, let's get into it. We've talked about this at the top of the show, but let's get some more thoughts on this. This was supposed to be Matt Hardy versus Sammy Guevara in a Broken Rules match. And I mean, this was probably the worst thing I have seen in a very, very long time. So the match started off, pretty fun. We see Sammy Guevara in his golf cart and he runs right through into it's the backstage of the stadium, all of that. But then they get onto the scissor lift and Sammy does a spear to Matt Hardy and he is supposed to land on the table. However, from the looks of it, they overshot it and Matt Hardy's head hit the concrete. And oh my God, guys, I saw that coming. Like the camera angle when he was going for it, when they were in the air, I swear it was in slow motion. That's the way I saw it. I saw it in slow freaking motion because I had enough time to think, man, they are going to overshoot this and this is not going to land the way it should. And it did not look good whatsoever. It was completely terrifying. I did not know what was happening. I mean, it was obvious that something was immediately wrong. It was obvious by the way everybody was reacting that something had gone wrong. You could sense the panic. And then it just sort of seems like they didn't know whether or not to continue. They ended the match, but then they came back. They even went to commentary. Commentary even took over at some point, and then they went back. Matt Hardy still goes on with the match for, a couple minutes. And guys, this was completely insane, and I'm just going to say that it was one of the worst things that I've seen, and I was completely terrified, and I was not a fan of this whatsoever, and I do not think that they should have continued this match whatsoever. I think they should have taken the camera away. They shouldn't have had Matt Hardy on that camera for as long as they did, because I think with the camera being on there, he was sort of, I'm not a doctor, I'm not an expert, but from the looks of it, he was just going with what he knows, and I've heard that happens when people get concussions. They sort of just, go with what they know. I'm not an expert. That's just what I've heard. And so it was just terrifying. But Sports and Wrestling Experience, who sent in a super chat, thank you so much for this, says Chris D'Souza is a goof. Why? He says tonight was a great night for wrestling. Lots of guys had tons to prove tonight. Ricky Starks is a star. Ryan is a diva guy. Okay, so I'm a little bit confused on all of this, but thank you so much for sending in the super chat, though. Guys, I mean, this was just not good. What did you think about this? Were you at any point not sure whether or not this was work? Because I didn't feel it was a work, but then I saw other people saying, oh, it's a work, and I thought to myself, well, if this is a work, this is a damn good one, because I have not been this fooled in wrestling, but I truly do not think it was a work, and now we know that because we do know Brian Alvarez reported that Matt Hardy was taken to the hospital. Rebby Hardy did post on her social media that she was pissed. Obviously. Good Guy says Matt and Sammy feud has got a curse. SMTG. Dude, it has not been good, man. And definitely Anon says this match was kind of a disaster waiting to happen. This feud has had too many close calls. The chair shot, that was one of them. I mean, damn. DTMD says, Doctor, Matt, are you okay? Matt XX, Doctor, he is cleared. It was a very bad call. He should not have been cleared. External shot where it says, hey, Denise, you look tired, LOL. It's probably because I'm not wearing eyeliner. Isaac says, disgusted by the Guevara Hardy match. It's 2020. The wrestlers are too tough to stop. Mentality doesn't hold up anymore. Someone should have stepped in and stopped the match immediately. Exactly. And here's the thing is that, obviously AEW claims the whole real sports mentality and all of that. In real sports, this was definitely would have been stopped and would not have gone any further whatsoever. External Shockwave says, Matt probably said go to the finish. Dude, the finish doesn't matter anymore. When something like that happens, I don't care what the finish is. I don't care what the big plan is. It doesn't matter. When something like that happens, you call it quits. It's done. End it. Cameron Christie says, Matt Hardy botch. Yikes. I was scared to death for him when Aubrey sent the X sign up. Hopefully he recovers okay and keep him off the ring stuff for a while. Dude, yeah, take a break. I mean, what more can you do, right? Paul Simon says, the match was a shit show, unfortunately. Mr. Big Bad Bean says, Hardy could barely stand up on his own, and then they still allowed him to climb the scaffolding. Honestly, I don't even know how he did that, guys. I don't know. I kept seeing the replay of this, and every time I watched it, my head was hurting from watching that. Honestly, it was a very scary thing, and I just can't believe how much of that still went on. When they went back on, I thought to myself, maybe it is a work. I was like, maybe I'm overreacting. I don't know, but it just didn't feel right, guys. I had a horrible feeling in my stomach, and just everything that I was seeing on social media, it just wasn't great. ETVP says, it was so irresponsible to let Matt continue the match. It's even worse that they let him climb up so high afterwards. Dude, I mean, come on, like the look in his eye, like he was not not there at all. Mike Montiel says, I stepped away for 30 seconds and I came back and Matt was down, though he thought he killed himself. Once he pulled down Sammy's gear and started falling over, I knew it was serious. I hope he's okay. Dude, that was probably like the worst 30 seconds that you could have walked away from. But hey, it happens, right? It's usually when you turn away when something happens. Cameron Christie says, kind of reminds me of the Kyrie saying concussion at TLC. And Eric Diaz says, poor Matt, he's woken into awe and has ended up broken over time. Hope he's okay and still gets a resurgence. Wilson says, I thought it was a work when the match started. Again, didn't think they'd be that. And then he says, stupid. DTMD says, my spine has been absolute and my ability to walk has been deleted. Oh, no. Oh, no. Mr. Big Bad Bean says, never tell a person they look tired. Maybe a girl, too. Or I don't know if guys get offended by that, but yeah. I don't care. External Shockley says, it's his career. We have no say when it happens. As cruel as it sounds, he probably didn't want to be that last thing we saw of him. He's a fighter. I respect him so much. I get it. No one wants to go down like that, but sometimes you have to set that aside, and the people that are in charge have to step in and snap that person out of it and do the right thing. And at that moment, Matt Hardy, I don't think was in the right mind to do the right thing. You know, that's what it seemed like from our perspective. D-Train says, Matt Hardy is truly broken now, I guess. Yikes. Jonathan Hedman says, the Hardy injury is sickening. This is the kind of stuff someone would call an outlaw mud show. Joshua says, do you think the humidity was a factor? I know Sean Ross Sapp reported that on Twitter, that he was getting texts from fans saying that the humidity had taken a toll on them. I mean, I don't know what the weather was in Jacksonville, but I mean, I can see it. Plus, the show felt really long, guys. For me, I thought the show felt really long, and I was tired. Like, after a while, I was like, okay, I'm used to the short pay-per-views now. I think we've been used to them for a while. So that's that. Alrighty, guys. So that's pretty much like the big thing in terms of the main thing that happened tonight. Let's go ahead and jump into Hikaru Shida versus Thunder Rosa for the AEW Women's title. I feel really bad because, to be honest, it was really hard to get into this match after what happened with the Matt Hardy situation. So I'm just going to be honest. I feel like I missed half of this match, because my headspace was in another dimension. I was reading everything that was happening on social media. So they were sort of put in a bad spot because this was literally after you saw like something so horrible. And so I kind of feel bad about that. But from what I saw, I thought the match was decent. It was probably one of the strongest women's AEW matches that I've seen in a while. And I mean, Thunder Rosa, she's been getting a lot of hype right now, a lot of buzz, and I'm excited that she's thriving from that. And I've been hearing nothing but good things about her. I know on the Tony Khan media call, Tony Khan had nothing but great things to say about her. Shida obviously won. That's fine. Overall, decent match from what I saw, but it was just really put in a bad moment. Jamie Jackson says, Thunder Rosa stole my heart tonight. Haven't seen any of her work before, but I'm sold. Yeah, Thunder Rosa. I like Thunder Rosa. I got to work with her in Ara Lucha, and she, that's where I met her. She's a really, really nice girl, really nice person. I ran into her afterwards at, when she was doing a podcast. And so she's just, all I can say is she's a really nice person, and I think that she has a lot of potential. And let's see. Andy Q says, I thought it was a really good show. I was tired after the tag title match. And indefinitely Anon notes, Hardy's injury sounds like a storyline, but I know it's not. J Top says, this match felt fundamentally good, but hard to invest in because of the surrounding circumstances. Hope they get another match down the line. Yeah, I think they will, especially because right now it doesn't really feel like they have a lot of women that they're putting in that spot. So it kind of feels like we may see this match again. And I think we should too, because I mean, they did good. And so many of us were taken out of it. I, along with you, J Top, was not able to completely focus on this match here. Felipe C says, how do you feel about people from other promotions showing up in AEW, especially considering most of them are paws? How do you feel about other people from other promotions showing up in AEW? Honestly, I mean, if they do that, that's fine. I feel like, I mean, NWA is not running right now. I don't know when they're gonna run again. So I mean, might as well if she can get the opportunity and if they're willing to like bring her on and do something with her. I know Tony Khan said he's not interested in anybody else from NWA, just Thunder Rosa as of right now. So I don't know if we'll be seeing any more, but it doesn't necessarily bother me, especially if right now, you know, with the current circumstances with COVID, with not every company running, then hey, if you can get some TV time and some, you know, some match time, go for it. Isaac says, it may not be saying much, but this was one of the better AEW women's matches of 2020. Still a long way to go with the division, however. Yes, I 100% agree with that, Isaac. And Mike says, I really wanted Thunder Rosa to win, but she was awesome. Hope they bring her back some more. I think they will. I think they kind of have to. Given how much buzz and how much people are talking about her right now, they kind of really have to. Alrighty, guys, BTW, just a quick reminder, if you guys want to send in any super chats throughout the stream, you are more than welcome to. It really helps me out, and it's just super awesome. But let's go ahead and continue on. So we're going to go ahead and move on to the next match, which, by the way, I don't have that much great stuff to say about this one. So if you guys have some great stuff to say about it, please help me out here. This was the Dark Order match. Brody Lee, Colt Cabana, Evil Uno, Stu Grayson versus Matt Cardona, Scorpio Sky, and the Natural Nightmares in an 8-man tag team match. I didn't have any expectations going into this match whatsoever. I didn't think it was good. I mean, that's all I can really say about this one. I thought this could have easily been a pre-show match, or this could have been easily off the card. I just kind of felt like in this pay-per-view, they really tried to get everybody on the show when not everybody needs to be on the show. They could have condensed it a lot more, I think. I don't think that necessarily having so many matches and so many people is always the best way to go there. Dahide says, so all the champions other than Shida are WWE people. Yes. Actually, my fiance who was watching the pay-per-view with me, that was one of the things that he noticed right away and like pointed out. And I was like, you know what? You're right. So Dahide, yes, I definitely caught that. Kyle says, got my girlfriend into wrestling with All Out. AEW has the ability to pull anyone in wrestling. It depends. It definitely depends. I know people that love AEW. I know people that don't love AEW. And I know people that like certain things and they don't like certain things. I think AEW has been putting a great product out. I've been watching Dynamite and NXT side by side, and there have been several weeks where I did think that AEW was the better product. And, honestly, I try to be fair with it. I try to be honest. If I like something more from NXT, that's what I prefer. If I like something more from AEW that week, that's what I prefer. But at the end of the day, I mean, I just want wrestling to be like more and more popular and more grand. So I try not to see it as like an AEW NXT war or WWE war. And obviously, so many people see it that way. But I'm like, dude, honestly, having AEW is doing a lot of good for the business in terms of getting people more work and more opportunities and getting more eyeballs on professional wrestling. So at the end of the day, it's good for business. And if it's good for business, then it's good, right? Marcus Ryan says, I was falling asleep during this match. It's unfortunate, but I can't blame you on this one. Isaac says, the 8-man tag match existed. That's the most I can say about it. Dustin looked great, but the Dark Order are too dorky to get into. Should have been on the pre-show. Yes, I've heard that a lot. That's definitely been something that has been discussed, that the Dark Order isn't necessarily a lot of people's favorites. Dustin, I mean, dude, I can't say anything bad about the guy. Jamie Jackson says, match was forgettable, but the post-match promo by Dustin was straight fire. The whole pay-per-view probably would have benefited with this match being left out. I definitely agree with everything that you just said right now, Jamie Jackson. But guys, we have another super chat. Thank you so much to Felipe C. I'm going to eat now. He says, just sending this to support the channel. Keep up the great hard work. Me encanta cuando haces contenido en español también. Muchas gracias, Felipe. Thank you so much. He basically says that he likes when I do Spanish content as well. I usually only have Spanish content on here, though. Whenever I interview somebody that only speaks Spanish, then I'll do an only Spanish interview, and you can actually find those on my channel. If you kind of scroll through my previous wrestling interviews and whatnot, you will find those there. But thank you so much for the support. You have no idea how much it means to me. Unless you run a YouTube channel, guys, YouTube isn't always, how do do I say this? The nicest when it comes to giving you a lot of money. You definitely, every creator, every small to like medium creator is putting in so much work and necessarily not always getting the monetary compensation that you would expect. So I really appreciate and the super chats that you guys send in. It really helps out. Thank you so much. Spaceman says, oh wait, I skipped it. I'll go back to John right now. Spaceman says, really enjoyed the last few minutes. I think Dark Order should have won. And John Elite says, loved All Out. I'm going to give it a 7.75 out of 10. You know what? I didn't love it. I didn't hate it, okay? I will say that much, all right? Let's go ahead and move on, guys. This next match was Kenny Omega and Adam Page versus FTR for the AEW World Tag Team titles. And we do have new AEW Tag Team champions, and it is FTR. So okay, guys, I'm just going to be honest. Please do not hate me, but I'm about to issue you guys a very unpopular wrestling opinion. So get ready to hate me because some of you guys will. In the nicest way possible, I'm just going to say it. I'm not an FTR fan, guys. I don't get it. I've never gotten it. I've tried to get it, but I can't. And I'm sorry. This match was good. It was long, but it did not compare to some of the matches that Kenny Omega and Adam Page have had against teams like the Young Bucks or SoCal Uncensored. It did not compare whatsoever, and I just have not gotten on board with this. So I'm sorry. Please do not hate me, but that's just my honest opinion on this here. Let's see. Indefinitely Alan says, oh no. NDQ says tag title match was fire. And External Shockwave says, whoa. Guys, I am breaking the I'm being very honest here, guys, all right? At the end of the day, it's entertainment. We're all not going to like the same thing. So I'm sorry, I'm not an FTR fan. Kevin Christie says, Denise, how? FTR is great. Shocker face. I don't see it. There. Felipe says, "Oh no!" Hashtag Denise's over party. Yes, I'm sorry, but it's a hill that I'm willing to die on. I'm not a fan. All right. Paul Saban says, "You saying you're not an FTR fan." Heartbreak. And see, I'm definitely making people feel bad here. The controversy has begun. Mike Montiel says, don't feel bad. I'm not an FTR fan either. Thank you, Mike. You have my back here. He says, they work me like crazy. I knew they would win, but they make me hate them so much and want to see them get what's coming. Andy Q says, unsubscribed, LOL, JK. Kyle says, 100% agree. I feel FTR is what WWE should have done with the revival. DTMD says, I cried in joy when FTR won. Laugh at me if you want. I'm not going to laugh at you. If you want to love FTR and think they're the greatest tag team in the world, you can do that. You can do that. It's your prerogative. I honestly, I don't get crazy when people say, let's say I love someone, right? And I'm a big fan of someone and someone says, well, I'm not a fan of that person. I'm going to be like, you know what? Okay, because that's your opinion and you're allowed to have that. I'm not going to crucify you if I don't agree with you. So I definitely I'm not going to laugh at you if you are a big FTR fan. And definitely Adon says, Denise is canceled. Luis Senio says, Denise say yeah. Wilson says, FTR is just a smart tag team. Isaac notes, this match was a major letdown, similar to Nakamura, AJ Styles from Mania 34. Technically sound, but underwhelming given those involved. Also, the post-match angle was a bit odd. And you don't like FTR? ? I'm sorry, guys. J-Top says, I can feel the heat coming off my screen from that boiling hot take. You know what, guys? There's one thing that I hate, though. There's times where I see people post unpopular wrestling opinions, and then it's not even an unpopular opinion. Well, you know what? This really is an unpopular opinion. I'm sorry. D-Train says, hey, everyone has their own opinions. FTR solid wrestlers, maybe not the most entertaining, though. Felipe C says, speaking of which is your favorite tag team in AEW? So AEW actually has my favorite tag team ever. ever. My favorite tag team of all time is Santana and Ortiz. I am such a big fan of their work, and it's not because of what they've done in AEW. I'm a big fan of their work because of everything that they did on Impact Wrestling. Those matches that they had, I was just so blown away that their matches were literally best of the year end highlight matches, in my opinion. I also love Pentagon and Phoenix. I just don't think that anyone is on their level whatsoever. And I would say that in terms of current tag teams, those are definitely my favorites, but I'm just a big Santana Ortiz fan. Cameron Christie says the hammer breaking our hats. I just got that hammer and smashed so many people's hearts right now. Marcus Ryan says, I'm ready for the Jurassic Express to take the titles from FTR. Dude, Jurassic Express moneymakers, the second they get back into those full crowds and they got kids and people and it's completely filled, Jurassic Express need to be tag team champions. Mike Montiel says, did anybody hear exactly what Kenny said to Young Bucks? I feel like I didn't hear well enough. He basically gave them an ultimatum, and that was what I understood from that. DTMD says, unpopular opinion, I am a spoon. Well, you know what? DTMD, forks are better than spoons, okay? Forks are better than spoons. This is a full-on war here. All right, guys, that's it. This stream has just become as messy as AEW All Out. Oh, you know what I forgot to talk about too? During the Casino Battle Royal, do you guys remember all those random fireworks? It was literally the Matt Sydal thing, the random fireworks, and I mean everything just went bananas. All right, guys, Okay, let me see where we're at here. All right, so there you go. That's the Kenny Omega, Adam Page tag team match. Let's move on to, we still have two more matches to talk about here. The next one is Chris Jericho versus Orange Cassidy in a Mimosa Mayhem match. How did you all, wait, hold on. We got a super chat. Thank you so much to Patel Ron 6. What's up, Patel Ron 6? He says, keep up the good work, Denise. Thank you so much. Honestly, thank you so much for saying that. And thank you so much for sending in the super chat. If I could give you like tons of extra good vibes, I'm sending them to you, okay? I'm sending them to you. All right. DTMD says, forks, that is it. You are getting mailed 100 spoons. You know what? I will throw those spoons someplace. But anyways, okay. How did you guys feel about the Mimosa Mayhem match? I personally, I'll just get started until you guys roll in some comments here. I liked how it started. I thought that Jericho hitting him right away with the code breaker was a really great way to kick off the match, sort of wake up the crowd, get the energy going, getting them excited. I mean, at the end of the day, people get excited for stuff like this because it's not every day that we see a Mimosa Mayhem match. So obviously we saw a little bit of a shift in the crowd with this one. However, I do think that the match went too long, guys. I was exhausted at this point already. I think we all just wanted to see Jericho get into that Mimosa tank, bathtub, whatever you want to call it, get in there, and that's it. At the end, it pretty much did accomplish that. We got to see Chris Jericho get soaked in the mimosa, so it did accomplish that. But the thing that I think this match really accomplished is that Chris Jericho made Orange Cassidy look like a real threat. I think moving forward, he has elevated Orange Cassidy in the terms of he went from sort of being on the lower mid card, being a comedy act, really, that he obviously got over, but he was seen as a comedy lower mid card guy. And now, because of this feud with Chris Jericho, I think he is now being seen as a legit threat. So if anything, that definitely elevated Orange Cassidy. So with that being said, I think overall, storyline purposes, it did really well. I thought that everything they did leading up to this match was very, very entertaining. It was probably one of my most entertaining things that I thought we were seeing consistently on AEW Dynamite. So I have nothing bad to say about this other than I was just tired at this point for this match here. But let's see what you guys thought here. And definitely Anon says innovative. Dang it. Andy Q says, not a great wrestling match, but a really fun segment. Yeah, it wasn't a wrestling match. It was mostly just like we're waiting for Chris Jericho to fall in there. Cameron says, you a fan of sporks? Oh, am I a fan of sporks? Yeah, I like them. Also, yeah, Mimosa Mayhem kind of went long, but it felt great to have Jericho in the Mimosa pool. DTMD says bubbly new flavor, freshly squeezed orange juice. Definitely, Alon says Stadium Stampede was very motivated. Stephen Butler says, I like the Jericho fall into the Mimosa and was glad that Jericho didn't hit the back of his head falling into it. Nah, he had a nice little splash in there. Kyle, it was interesting, but not as interesting as the Stadium Stampede match. I feel Stadium Stampede is a match of the year candidate. Dude, the Stadium Stampede match was freaking awesome. I was so pissed that I didn't do a post show for that because I wanted to talk about how great the Stadium Stampede match is. And that's when I decided to start doing AEW post shows, which is why I'm here now. Stephen J says the OC Jericho match wasn't as good as their other matches. I'm a crazy Denise fan. IDK just didn't feel it. Also, you rock. Thank you so much, Stephen J, for the love. Honestly, DTMD says I was out of breath because of singing my heart out during Jericho's entrance. Yeah, his entrance is definitely a lot of fun. All right, guys, let's go ahead and get into it. The last match of the evening, and it was the main event, obviously, Jon Moxley versus MJF for the AEW World title. We did have Jon Moxley winning here. So they obviously went out there and they gave it all that they could. This was a very aggressive match in the sense that we saw blood, we saw biting. I mean, things got really rough and really heated between Jon Moxley and MJF. I think that their build also to this match was really phenomenal. I mean, MJF is fantastic on the mic. You don't need me to tell you that. He's been killing it. The only thing that I didn't like, but it did end up working out in terms of the finish, I didn't like that Moxley's paradigm shift was necessarily banned from it because I actually thought that it made MJF look weak, that he had to have Jon Moxley's maneuver, banned from this match. I thought that was a little bit silly going into this. I also thought that if Jon Moxley is a champion, then he shouldn't necessarily have to live and die by this. So, that was pretty much my only thing going into this, but the match itself was fine. Again, I was already tired at this point. I was hoping that they didn't go for a long match, and they kind of did. So I was kind of just like, all right, I'm waiting for this finish. Let's get to it, because I think at this point I was just beat down. But in the end, we had Wardlow distract the referee, and Moxley ended up getting the paradigm shift. So he did end up using his finisher in the end. So that was great. Overall, I forgot to talk about the fan. So I don't know how many of you guys saw this. I did retweet this on Twitter. There was some crazy psycho fan who tried to either grab or attack Moxley. I'm not even really sure what he was trying to do, because security was on it. So there's a clip online. You guys can pull this up and you can find it on my Twitter account of this fan. Basically, he sees Moxley coming out and he runs down the stairs, but the security is like right there. And the second he sees this guy running, he goes after him. He takes him down to the ground, holds him down, and thankfully, he wasn't able to try to do anything to Moxley, because who knows what this guy's intentions were. Who knows what the heck was going on in his head. So there you guys go. What did you think of this match? Jamie Jackson says, fantastic match. What else do you need to say? MJF is going to be a huge star. Dude, he's definitely getting there. He's been one of the most consistent acts on AEW that, I mean, every week he's just doing a great job. He hasn't had one bad week, in my opinion. Andy Q says, I felt this result was telegraphed with Archer's win. DTMD. Oh, wait, sorry. Oh, no, I lost your comment. Oh, sorry, guys. Okay, I'll try to find it again. Terrell says, at Instinct Culture by Denise Salcedo, AEW pay-per-view was epic. It was epic. A lot of crazy stuff went down, okay? A lot of it. And definitely Adon says he just wanted to ask him if he was Dean Ambrose. Laughing face. I don't know. Terrell says, a guy. I thought it was a kid. No, dude, that was a man. I saw the video. That was a guy. I mean, the guy was tall. He looked like a dude to me. Long hair. He did not look like a kid whatsoever, in my opinion. From the video I saw, he looked like a man to me. Marcus Ryan says, I honestly thought MJF was going to pass out with the amount of blood he lost, and had that would have been the finish. That would have been pretty interesting as well. Isaac says, my own unpopular opinion says I don't really care for Jon Moxley. He's a good performer. By the way, he wrestles, just doesn't do it for me. I feel like his act belongs in the 90s. So Isaac, I don't know if I've said this already. I might have said this on Wrestle Talk. I feel like I have. I agree with you. I never got the Jon Moxley hype either. I'm just going to be honest. Second unpopular wrestling opinion of the day. I don't get the Jon Moxley hype either. But I do get the Jon Moxley hype more than the FTR hype. All right, guys. I'm sorry, but you know what? The truth is finally coming out. The truth is coming out on my streams here. So there you go. Let's see what else you guys had to say. Kyle says, one of my main problems is crazy fans. That's the toxicity of certain fans. Am I saying that correctly? I hope so. Dude, there's crazy people everywhere in every walk of life. I mean, I see it all the time. As you guys know, I'm a big fan of pop culture. So I see a lot of, the top female pop icons constantly being stalked by all these crazy fans. So it's nothing new. I just think these people need to face worse punishments so that maybe people can think twice about it. And I mean, this was a man-on-man thing too. So it was kind of like, bro, what are you doing? What are you doing? Alrighty, guys, send in your last and final thoughts of the day because I am about to wrap up this stream. However, I do want to remind you guys all that I will be back here for, we got another super chat. Chris DeZuba, thank you so much for the super chat. He says, you have a second career as an auctioneer. You talk very fast. Keep up the great work. I know I'm a fast talker because I talk the way I think, and I think really fast sometimes. And so I talk the way I think. I try to slow down sometimes. Fun fact. When I interviewed Raven, and you can find that interview on my YouTube channel, afterwards he spoke to me and he did tell me that he thought that everything I did was fine, and he gave me some criticism, and the criticism was not to talk so fast, but it's just one of those things that, kind of happens. But thank you so much, Chris DeZuba, for the really nice super chat. Guys, I do want to remind you all that I will be back here. I will be back on September 27th for WWE's Clash of Champions. So if you guys want to tune into these live streams, if you guys are having a good time doing them, I try to make them really interactive so that you guys can get your opinions out there and whatnot. I will be back September 27th for Clash of Champions. And then since AEW just announced that they're going to be doing Full Gear on November 7th, I will also be back on November 7th to do Full Gear. Also, I do want to let you all know that I do have a new interview up right now with Conan. If you guys have not checked that interview out, check it out because Conan is literally one of the greatest minds in professional wrestling. I mean, he's literally discovered some of the biggest stars that you can think of, with one of them being Rey freaking Mysterio. So check out that interview. It's one of my favorites. There are so many other interviews that you guys should check out. I have stuff with Drew McIntyre, Mickey James. I'm blanking on my own interviews. Vicky Guerrero, Sean Spears. I mean, I have so many up right now. Melina Perez. Go check those out, plus other content. I hope you guys enjoy the stuff that's being put out there. But here we go. Cameron Christie says, thoughts on Wrestle Talk? Ollie fired Luke. I found out that he got fired on this stream because somebody mentioned it at the top of this stream. I have to reach out to Luke because I have no idea what's happening or what's going to happen because he is my co-host on Friday's Wrestle Talk magazine podcast show. So I have no idea what that means for the future of mine and Luke's show. So we got to figure out what's happening here. Andy Q says, you like Goldberg though, so your opinion is known to be questionable, Denise. Andy Q, it's Goldberg though. You cannot compare Goldberg to FTR or Jon Moxley. What? That's insane. And yes, I am a Goldberg fan, all right, guys? You best know it now. I am a Goldberg fan. D-Train Riot Maker says, Denise, great content as always. Enjoyed your interview with Conan. Off subject, thoughts on the WWE situation with people on TikTok, YouTube, etc. Are they just mad not getting money from it? Okay, so this is a very complicated issue, and I will tell you why. Okay, where should I start here? I work as an independent contractor, so I know the freedoms that come with being an independent contractor, and it's very obvious that we're not seeing the WWE employees that are listed as independent contractors, have those same freedoms. And so it's very difficult for me to say that they should not be doing this stuff because they are independent contractors. Hence, if they want to make extra money, they should. However, I do also see the situation in terms from WWE seeing it as business side where they're using their character names and stuff like that. I think that they should just refine the rules and just be like, hey, honestly, the best solution, in my opinion, for this is let them do YouTube and Twitch and Cameo and all that stuff, but have them do it under their real names, not their character names. But I do see the Cameo one. I think the Cameo one is a little bit more complicated. And the only reason why I think that one's complicated is because it does sort of that's not the right word, but WWE does do meet and greets. So the whole Cameo situation is a little bit weird. However, I don't feel that way for Twitch or TikTok or YouTube because, it's a way to be creative. Let them do it. And also in terms of TikTok, TikTok is huge right now, guys. Huge. And I've been saying this. I think if a wrestling company utilizes TikTok properly and gets those younger fans to watch wrestling and turn them into wrestling fans, I think that TikTok is one of those things that you should be on. You should be on that platform. You should be doing it. And YouTube, come on, let them do vlogs. I cannot say that somebody shouldn't do YouTube because I do YouTube and I love YouTube. And so I just think it's very unfortunate that that stuff is being taken away from them. I do get their reasonings, but at the same time, I don't. So it's a very iffy situation. So I don't know if I answered that properly, but that's just sort of how I feel on that. Thank you so much to Pastor Blaster who sent another super chat. He says, hope to hear more of your opinion on AEW. By the way, love your interview style. Thank you so much, Pastor Blaster, for sending in the super chat and for the really nice comments. I really hope to do more AEW stuff as well. Oh, here we go, guys. We actually had another super chat. I don't know why I didn't see it. I'm sorry. Patel Ron 6, thank you so much for another super chat. He says, when you go on Wrestle Talk, have everyone pronounce jarritos. Oh my gosh. All right. So funny story for those of you guys who don't know, on Fightful, Sean Ross Sapp pronounced jarritos as Jarritos or Doritos. I forgot what he said, but it was like Doritos, but it's actually jarritos. And it was just so funny to me. It was literally the funniest thing. Greg Cherry Brand says, hi, Denise. Sorry I joined late, but I assume you have a great show. Love your reviews. Thank you so much. He says, I also emailed you about doing an interview of your own on my show. Thank you. I will look at my email and check that because sometimes things get really complicated and I miss things. But thank you so much for coming on to the stream here. And then I'm trying to see if I missed any comments that I wanted to read here. Jamie Jackson says, this was my first pay-per-view AEW pay-per-view. Overall, I liked it, but it was hard to get through the first half, but I will start watching more going forward. Hey, Jamie, you know what? I'm not going to say this was the greatest pay-per-view to start off with for AEW, but you know what? If you liked it, continue on, enjoy it. There's going to be things you like, things you don't like, and that's perfectly fine, I think. And then I think, okay, I'm trying to go through all the comments, make sure I didn't miss anything. I feel like I missed something. Okay, I did not miss anything. Am I good? Did I get everybody? I want to make sure I didn't miss any super chats. All right, guys, let me close off the show by saying do not forget to follow me on Twitter or on Instagram @ Denise Salcedo. Please follow me on Twitter, especially because I'm very active on there and I'm trying to grow it a lot more. So check me out, Twitter and Instagram. Thank you so much to everybody who tuned in. Marcus Ryan says, great show, Denise. Keep up the great work that you do and stay safe. Thank you guys so much for joining here today. Again, I will see you guys at Clash of Champions. Check out some of my other videos. Do not forget to subscribe. Tell your friends about me. And if you enjoyed the show, tweet me your thoughts on the show and I will retweet you guys. So go over there right now @ Denise Salcedo. Thank you guys so much for the love. Good night, everyone. Bye.